Sophie and Richard, it's been a while since we've chatted, and I am a little bit on the edge of my seat because the promo material for 7B says something like Roger and Brianna face new enemies across time and must battle the forces that threaten to tear their family apart. And I've got to tell you, that sounds like it's going to be really intense. Is 7B going to blow our socks off?
It is, not to sugarcoat it, just it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does take them, especially for Roger and Brianna, on very, very tumultuous individual journeys and as a team. And they definitely are separated through time and space. But I think this season, one thing that they are more together on is their mission and their strength as a team. And so it's a very cool journey that we're about to take you on.
Richard, like, what do you think? Like, are you excited?
No, no, not really. No, I actually think it's some of the best. I think it's Outlander at its best, to be honest. I think some of the stuff that we get to see in the second half of season 7 is very exciting, very unexpected. I think the fans out there might have an idea of what's going to happen, but I think we're going to throw, a hell of a lot more on top of that. So, it's a very unexpected journey for all of our heroes, and I think people are going to love it. I really think people are going to love it.
Yeah, you know what? I've got to tell you, when I've watched the first few episodes and sitting there with my wife who's a book reader, and even she was gasping with like, that's really unexpected. So there are a lot of things that we have to look forward to, but we can't spoil it because I literally have someone from Starz here right now who will.
They're just
They flew here just for that.
Wow.
So like, it's a lot. They care about this show deeply.
That's a
So
good thing.
look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like 7A left, ended with Bree saying goodbye to Roger, right? So Roger goes through the stones to search for Jemmy in the past. Richard, so how is that separation, do you think, going to impact Roger's relationship with his loved ones? Because he's out there on his own now, and that's going to be something kind of exciting for you to chew on.
Oh, it's definitely exciting as an actor, and the sort of scope that gives us. Both of us actually, for Roger and Brie, they're all both off on their own journeys, so we'll get to explore those characters in much more detail in a way that we haven't seen them because they are, apart. Roger's not entirely on his own; he's with Buck, but I think Brie actually has probably been left because we just don't have an idea of what's coming Bree's way, right? So we kind of imagine that she's in actually a sort of a safer environment, which may or may not be the case, right? Because it's Outlander. But I think it's exciting to watch these characters go off on these journeys to two very different paths through the second half of season 7, and I think it brings with it a lot of really, really good content.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking forward to, I think, like Sophie, Bree is going to be without Roger. And, some of us know what's coming, in the next few episodes. So do you think that's going to really test Bree? And as the actor playing Bree, is that something that you were really looking forward to, trying to take her in a slightly different direction?
I feel Brianna has been quite a lone wolf her entire life. And only recently has she really discovered what it feels to have a constant family around her. And so I think having her husband and one of her children torn away from her at this point is very testing, like you said. But I don't think it's something that she's not used to. And I think that she has an added layer of responsibility now that she's left home with Mandy to hold herself together for the sake of the child that is still around. But I definitely think it puts her mama bear sort of instinct skills to test. And yeah, we're definitely going to see her fight or flight responses this season, which was very interesting to unravel and to see to what depth she goes to in that realm.
I really like Brie in Mama Bear mode. I'm really looking forward to more of that. So that's exciting. I also like Roger in Mama Bear mode, but that's another show. Also, I was thinking that, is it true that while you were still shooting season or 7B that you found out that it was announced that season 8 would be its last season? So that's how it happened, right? Did that change much for you guys at all while you were in the process knowing that there was going to be an actual end?
Yeah, I think it had maybe given us a little taster starter kit of what it would feel to start the countdown, right? I think it was very much the questions of how the series would end, or kind of thinking that this was the last time we'd have, you know, maybe the first ever read through of a season or something. And I think it was a good way through 7B when the writers sort of said, look, we still think that this is going to be the end. We're gearing up to the season being the end. And then once that wasn't, I think it actually makes 7 more interesting, because I think that it was written in an even more rich way than Outlander usually is, because it really felt like it was ramping up to the end. And so you kind of get a good lead up to the end of 7 part 2, and then you get to start all over again with us.
And Richard, do you agree that it made any difference at all, or did it really just it's all part of the journey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it must have done. It must have done. Like Sophie says, I think they were gearing up to it potentially being the end, it potentially being the last season, right? So they're obviously going to write that in a certain fashion. They're going to write that in a certain way with certain, through lines potentially coming to an end. So I think we were leading towards the end, and then when it changed, I think the sort of scope of that also changed. So I think the energy of it was definitely quite specific. And then when we knew that season 8 was coming, we obviously knew that it was going to be a longer journey to go, so the pacing of it maybe changed. I don't know how, moment to moment, how different it would have been, but it would have definitely made some sort of a difference for sure.
You know that meme with old Rose from Titanic where she's like, "It's been 80 long years." That's how I feel about Outlander between every season. It's just it
Thanks,
takes
Rob.
too long. But
Uh,
I'm very happy that you guys are back. It's so nice to see you back on our screens, and for that I'm rejoicing with happiness and joy. So thank you again for your time today.